It was the life of a child, wilding out with a wild style and the smile of a soldier, and never in denial of how out of this world were the thoughts that he carried around were like a house on his shoulders. The older he got, plotting his brain with the images of a militant crushing his haters like a sledgehammer to a boulder. He held, holding his ground in a gangster stance at a glance, protecting the chance of a demon surrounding his sisters. Keeping the wall from crumbling around them, he held each brick in place till his palms were blistered. And still held on. He stood as a giant heart with a foot in the street, causing enough mayhem to leaving a mark in the dark part of the hood, leaving a path like a twister. He'd give every moment of his life in a moment to making that moment feel like a lifetime. He'd laugh at a moment without a moment's notice. He'd be in that moment and tell me he liked the way that I'd rhyme. And at that moment I felt the love. Then a moment later he hated me, protecting his sisters. I guess I wasn't in my right mind. The boy grew into a man who could withstand the quicksand of the streets, then come into the studio killing a verse like a hitman to a beat. He'd say it was a crown verse. Was it king side? I was ringside to the beat down, leaving haters leaned out like a kickstand to the concrete. He was a monster in the studio, a beast in the streets. A protective brother was his duty. He'd feast off the beef of his haters. He was king to say the least. But when he was in his moment, he was a boy lost in the world of confusion, of being used and abused in the optical illusion of a perfect life. But what was his conclusion? Life is a delusion of misused truths and no solutions. I can only say he has proven fact that a man can in fact find peace in the act of loving someone he hated. He loved me for a moment, then he banged against me like we was gang related. Chris Jones was a man known as some to raw material, a brother, a son, a grandson, a nephew, soft in his heart, with a rock exterior, superior to all who went against his love, inferior to those who felt the battle in his life. He was tough as a leather glove, rough around the edges, but enough to feel the strength and the meaning of what he meant to us. A boy, a man, a gangster, a rapper. We'd never forget him for another moment and why he was sent to us. We love you, Chris Raw Material Jones. You were the best of us.